Hi, how are you? I'm Anthony from Cypher House Escape, and I'm back with some more of the CMU puzzle hunt, the Oregon Trail Hunt, from November of 2020. If you didn't see my first video, I managed to solve 2 of the feeder puzzles for this puzzle hunt so far, and what I'm doing on this screen is trying to simulate the unlock structure of a puzzle hunt by only allowing myself access to 3 feeder puzzles at any given time, and requiring that I solve a certain number of those before looking at the meta puzzles. We're starting today with 3 puzzles available to us. There's Campfire Music and You Have Died of Dysentery, which have both been around since the start of the hunt, and I should probably try taking a look at least one of those today. And then we unlocked a new puzzle at the end of last video called Gone Trapping, so I'm going to open up all 3 of those puzzles now, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to start a stopwatch, and whenever I finish solving one of the puzzles, I'll stop it, and we'll see how long it took me to get to that point. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Okay, so last time I briefly took a look at Campfire Music. I remember noticing that this had something to do with the Sound of Music song that goes through the scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I don't think I made much more progress on this one, but maybe I'll take a deeper look at it today. You Have Died of Dysentery has 3 patients, and also this list of symptoms I remember seeing in the flavor text, so that's probably important in some way for diagnosing what's going on with these patients. And then we have the new puzzle, Gone Trapping. You set up traps around the wagon to catch some of the local game. You map out the caught animals, which have wandered exactly into the traps you've set for them. All crossword-style clue answers are 4 or 5 letters. All cryptic clue answers are 6 letters. Okay, so the crossword-style clues are the traps, and they're 4 or 5 letters. And then the animal clues are the cryptic clues, and they're all going to be 6 letters. So probably in some way, these crossword clues relate to the cryptic clues. How many do we have? So I noticed that we have 12 of each. There's 12 crossword clues and 12 cryptic clues. I'm guessing that these numbers after the trap clues are indexes, but they're an index for the cryptic clue that gets matched with the trap clue. I also noticed that the trap clues are in alphabetical order, but the animal clues are not. Okay, I definitely want to take a look at Gone Trapping, but I think I should probably take a look at one of these older puzzles first, just to see if I can make any decent progress on them. So I'm going to start here with Campfire Music. After a long day, the stepmother called the children together for some campfire singing. They listened closely to the sound of music and tapped out the beats. Okay, so I'm guessing that these reference the people in the movie Sound of Music. So I noticed that there are 7 different notes in the sheet music here. The first 3 are tied together here, and then the next 2 are tied together. It says we're going to tap out the beats, so I'm thinking that that's means we're going to be like sounding out the syllables possibly of these people's names. Okay, let me look up the, I think it's the Von Trapp family. Okay, so here's a full list of the characters from The Sound of Music, including the 7 children and their relative ages. Thank goodness for Wikipedia. So Gretel is the youngest of the Von Trapp children. Who's the 3rd youngest? Brigitte. The 2nd youngest is Marta. And then we don't use Frederick, but we have the stepmother. Okay, so the kid's stepmother is Maria. So what do I do with these people? If I were trying to use the song, doe, a deer, a female deer, would go with this symbol pretty clearly. So doe goes with Marta. And then we have Ray, a drop of golden sun, and here we have a picture of a sun. Me, a name I call myself. I'm pretty sure that one goes with the ID tag, because that would make sense. Far, a long, long way to run. I'm guessing that's this street that kind of trails off into the far distance. Sew, a needle pulling thread, goes here. La, a note to follow sew. I'm guessing by default that's the left arrow. Oh, like follow. I'm thinking the arrow pointing back could be indicating follow. And then we have tea as a drink with jam and bread, so that one definitely goes with the tea here. Initially, I see that these are ordered alphabetically. No, they're not quite ordered alphabetically by the kids' names. They're very closely, or almost, ordered alphabetically by the kids' names. Oh, this says second oldest, not second youngest, so that one is Frederick. So good. This is ordered alphabetically by the kids' names, which means we can guess that we have to do some reordering before utilizing these in the puzzle. And so I'm guessing the order that we're going to put these in is the order of the notes in the song, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So I'm guessing the last step then is that we need to just use these notes within the song as maybe an index, but it says to tap out the beats. So I'm guessing we're not indexing to take a letter, but we're indexing to take a syllable of these names. So for this first one here, the note's do, and we're indexing into Frederick. Well, Frederick only has 2 syllables, so maybe we are indexing in and taking the letter. Let's try it. So that would give us an I here. And then we take the second letter here, which is O. First letter B. And then the third letter is an R. All right, well, that's pretty clearly not correct. I noticed that the length, like the number of measures for how long these notes last, almost corresponds to the length of some of these names. So Frederick is the longest name, and it composes these 3 measures here. Okay, how about this? It's 4/4, right? The measures are in 4/4. So maybe, because it says count out the beats, we count out how many beats there are for each note. So for this first one, there's 4 beats in the first measure, 4 beats in the second, and then 1 beat in this last measure here for a total of 9 beats. So maybe we take the 9th letter. Okay, I'm gonna start by writing down the total number of beats for each of these. There's 6 for the next one, and then 2, and then 12. Maybe I'm using full names here, because Maria's not 12 letters. Then it looks like we have 3, 3, and 4. So we get an H, A, that looks promising, R. Then down here we have E, R, and S. And what's Maria's full name? Maria Rayner. Maybe I'm supposed to do Maria von Trapp? Yeah, I guess if she's still Maria Rayner, she's not the stepmother yet. So we're gonna go with Maria von Trapp here. And so now the 12th letter is a P. Harper's. Okay, let's try Harper's. Correct! Yes! We can change campfire music to green, and keep talking and nobody explodes gets unlocked and goes to yellow. Stopping my timer. That was almost 22 minutes. Okay, so next I'm going to open Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, and we're going to see what that puzzle's about. I'm starting my timer for my next solve now. Okay, keep talking and nobody explodes. Your team hears a call for help from within a mountain. No manual will help you here. I wonder what this is.
Help! I'm stuck inside this mountain with a bomb. All I want to know is how it is outside.
That's great. Okay, so this is the person that we need to help with the bomb, and then here's a list of timestamps of the various puzzles that he completes on the bomb. So this puzzle looks fun. I don't know quite how it works yet. I want to take a quick look at You Have Died of Dysentery, because that's the oldest puzzle that I currently have on my sheet. And I just want to see if I can make any break-ins real quick. The last time I looked at this puzzle, I noticed that there were 7 symptoms up here, and that those probably apply to 7 of these 8 words under each of these people, I would guess. Okay, yeah, I don't see how to break into this puzzle, so I'm going to move on to a different one. I think I'm going to take a look at Gone Trapping. I think I got the Gone Trapping puzzle over into the sheet here, and now we need to start answering the clues. We know that crossword-style clues are either 4 or 5 letters long. So B part of acquire is probably sing. Destroy paper is probably tear. Fabricates could be makes. Iron or copper or metals. Type of corrosion is probably rust. Wedding vows. I'm gonna say that's probably I do's. Okay, cryptic clues, on the other hand, are all 6 letters. Basically, every clue has a definition for the answer, as well as some wordplay for how to obtain that answer. So for this clue, household fabrics contained in myelin in shielding. The answer is going to be linens. And the definition is the household fabrics. And then the wordplay is that the word linens is actually contained in myelin shieldings. It's inside of it right there. Lament about intellectual. Lament about. Okay, so here about is probably an anagram indicator for the 6-letter word lament, meaning we need to scramble the letters to get a word that means intellectual. Mental. Okay. So, mental is the answer here. Odd innuendo following announcement caused an ache. I'm guessing that either ache or caused an ache is the definition here. Odd innuendo probably means that we need to take these odd letters from the word innuendo and then do something with them. So we have I-N-E-D. And that needs to follow announcement. So what's a 2-letter word for announcement? Let me see what could go before this I-N-E-D. Pained. So announcement is an indicator of the acronym PA for program announcement, I believe. So this answer is pained. Narrow road replaces center of pit in Venus, say. Okay, so a narrow road is a lane, L-A-N-E, and we're using that to replace the center of pit, which is the I. So basically we're putting lane in between the P and the T to get planet. Director Meyer and an alien make a potato. I'm guessing the director Meyer, I can look this up, I'm guessing that's Russ Meyer? Yeah, Russ Meyer is a film director. So Russ is the director, and the alien is E.T. for extraterrestrial, and so we get russet, which is a potato. Spotting Newton in Wild Siege. Spotting. Okay, so I'm guessing we're taking the N from Newton. Newton's telling us to just take an N. And we're putting that in an anagrammed version of these letters in siege. And we need something that means spotting. It's going to be seeing. So far, all of these answers are in alphabetical order, so that could help me with determining what some of these other answers are. Clever mole-like mammal dead at last. What's a mole-like mammal? Okay, so it looks like a shrew is a mole-like mammal, and if we put the D at the end of that, that gives shrewd. Countries half senile around Wednesday. So what's a country that has maybe W-E-D in it? And we can put half of the word senile, so maybe the S-E-N. Sweden. So the question is, can we start figuring out how these animals and these traps are related to each other? My guess is that we're going to try to put these animals inside of these traps in some way. Maybe I should try a little harder to get a few more traps. I just kind of went through really quickly. Breaking down a sentence is probably parse. This is probably east of Eden. Lit up sign in an emergency. Oh, exit. Secret informant. This could be a mole. I'm thinking that's a mole. Okay, now I'm gonna see real quick if I can get these last couple of cryptic clues. Oh, I see. This is renown. It's another one where the answer's inside. Oh, okay. So if you're discriminating on gender, that's sexist. And survive means exist, and that's after the head of state, which is the S. Oh, I see. This is sparse. So sparse means infrequent. Duels is spars, and then the first of enemy is E, the first letter. Some morning women remove nitrogen from an operating system. Oh, Windows. Or Widows. Yeah, so Windows is the operating system. We remove nitrogen and we're left with some morning women, which is widows. The flavor text is, you've set up traps around the wagon to catch some of the local game. You map out the caught animals, which have wandered exactly into the traps you've set for them. Well, this is interesting. So, reading map out in the flavor text made me think about directions, and I noticed that a lot of these words, basically all of these words, have some of the 4 cardinal directions within them: north, south, east, and west. So like mental has east and north. That's true on both of these sides. Okay, I'm making an additional column for each of these where I'm just going to put in the directions. I was hoping that these might map one-to-one onto each other, so like something that had, I don't know, south-southeast on this side might map to south-southeast on this side, but that's not the case. Oh, okay. This is easier than I was making it. In fact, you've probably already seen how I match up the crossword clues to these animals. The animals, some of the animals have the crossword clues inside of them. So sing is a subset of seeing. Parse is in sparse. I'm gonna just start matching them up down here. So sing goes with seeing. Paid is in pained. And we're just gonna pretend that I didn't horribly misspell paid. A secret informant is a plant. So actually with my misspelling of paid, that means that there's no cardinal directions in this word. Destroying paper is probably shred. I think what I need to do is keep track of these remaining letters. So if we remove sing from seeing, we're left with EE. If we remove parse from sparse, we're left with an S. And this is what we're left with. We have 4 answers that are north, south, east, and west. And then we have the remainder of the answers are double directions. We have north, north, east, east, west, west, and south, south, southwest and southeast, northwest, and northeast. I don't know for sure if this is what we're doing, but I'm going to make essentially a compass over here. I think what I want to do is use these bracketed numbers on the left to index into the full animal solutions, and then I want to put those indexed letters around the compass depending on where these letters are. So for example, for the north coordinate, we want to take the 6th letter of this word, which is an L. But we also have an N, which I'm thinking is just a 2nd letter that we're putting in the north coordinate. And the northwest is an O. And then we also have this here. This is the enumeration of what I assume we want the final phrase to be. So I'm not quite sure where we start on this compass. If we're reading it, I assume we're reading clockwise. I'm thinking it's going to spell SOL, short for solution, is, and then we have rainsner, rainsny? Oh, I can spell ensnare. Ensnare is correct. Good. Gone trapping turns green for solved. Hunting is now unlocked. And let me stop my time. It took me almost 52 minutes to solve Gone Trapping. Oh, I think I see how this extraction was meant to work. I decided to take a quick look at this again just to see if the extraction made more sense to me. I think the one that's doubled for north, south, east, and west goes on the outside of the compass, and then the one that's single goes on the inside. So for this, north, north was the S, and the L was just a single north, so I'm going to put that in there. We can now read it out like a book. SOL, solution, is ensnare. That's a really cool puzzle. Hunting's the new puzzle. Let's take a quick look at hunting. A traveler meets you and exclaims that he had a successful hunt today. He shows you 2 notes and says, "I traveled the area in a loop, going to every square. I made sure to avoid the obstacles like trees, logs, and buffalo. My path had no branches and only crossed on the ice. The ice was so slippery that it was impossible to change directions while on it. The buffalo were all stationary. Whenever I was staring directly at an alive buffalo, I shot it. I wasn't able to see over trees or logs. I didn't necessarily shoot them in the numbered order." The traveler was muttering something about the characters enclosed in the loop's 8 smallest squares, reading from top to bottom. Then he said, "From the start." So the hunter traveled the area in a loop, going to every square but avoiding the obstacles. So usually with this kind of puzzle, when you're drawing these loop puzzles, it's easiest to start in kind of constrained areas, like in these corners. If the traveler went to this corner square, he had to have come from the square to the right and from the square below it. One of them's where he came from and one of them's where he went to. He can't go through this tree down here, so he has to turn, and then he's not allowed to change direction on these icy spaces. He can't walk into the buffalo either, so this path goes down here. On the ice spaces, he is allowed to cross over his own path. So basically, I'm just going to start going around and working through this in this way, starting with the constrained corners. So if he has to travel to every square, there's something interesting that happens for these 3 ice squares here. He can't travel vertically through them, because that would mean, since he can't change directions, that he would run right into this buffalo down here below. So in order to travel through the squares in this column, he has to be traveling right to left, or left to right, as he goes through them. Same kind of thing with these ice squares, like this one. He can't be traveling to the left, because that would mean he'd go off the edge of the grid here, because he can't change directions. So he must be traveling through that one vertically. This square has to go to the right and up, because it can't cross either of these on these white squares. Same with this one. It would cross if it went down or to the left. It would cross on a white square, so it has to go like that. This goes to the right. Okay, these have to go across up here. This goes like this and down. This one goes across, and this closes off here. Okay, so I think we've made our completed loop. So he starts in this space and travels to the right, and then down, and here he sees buffalo number 1 when he first starts traveling down. So I'm just gonna put a 1 there. I don't know if this is important or not. The traveler was muttering something about the characters enclosed in the loop's 8 smallest squares. Where are these 8 small squares? Maybe it would be helpful if I drew this path over top of this numbered grid. Would that be helpful? Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. It's because the loop grid is an 11 by 11 grid, while this grid is a 10 by 10 grid. So these letters aren't actually in the squares where the loop's traveling. These letters are on the intersections of the vertices. So these 8 small loops are probably these small ones like this. Number of turns. Oh, is it the number of times that he has to turn in order to shoot each buffalo? So I have the numbered buffaloes here, 1 through 5, and I'm going to count how many times he has to turn in order to shoot each of those, and then I'm going to convert that into a letter, I think? So he shoots the first buffalo on the very first turn. He shoots the second buffalo after 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. So then he goes turn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and he shoots Buffalo 4. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. On turn 20, he hits Buffalo 5. And then on turn 21, he hits Buffalo 3. So if I convert these into letters, that would be A, D, U, L, and T, which spells adult. Is that the answer? Trying adult as the answer for hunting. Correct. Oh, that was good. And that means we unlock Honest Poker. Time for that puzzle was 21 minutes. So with those 3 puzzles solved, we've made a greater dent into this stack of puzzles for the CMU Puzzle Hunt. I'm really enjoying it so far. CMU Puzzle Hunt tends to put together a great hunt twice a year. So I expected to really enjoy these puzzles, and they haven't disappointed me so far. So that's it for today's video. Have a great day, and as always, happy escaping.